Zambia will be heading on for its elections on August 13. It is very, very important as a region, as a people, to understand, to monitor, to be in touch with what is happening in Zambia. We all know that President HH, for the first time after more than 2 decades of him, of course, being in the contestations, campaigning, but this time around the campaign is different. He is incumbent sitting president. And we have seen, of course, various forces, opposition leaders. Of late, the opposition in Zambia seemed so much fragmented. But as elections were coming close, we realized that most of these opposition parties, who, of course, at one point came from the PF and other, of course, political parties which once held power in Zambia, they came together. We realized that of late, as we were approaching the month of March, May, and June, we saw the opposition in Zambia shaping up, and behind one Brian Mutubile. Brian Mutubile actually is coming from the Tonse Alliance, and of course now with his running mate Makebi Zulu, who is coming also with and the PF Pamonzi Alliance. We saw, of course, the EFF coming aboard, of course, to join the force behind Brian Mutubile. It is of interest also to note that even the former intelligence boss, who, of course, declared that he's going to contest with his party in these very elections, despite him being behind bars, he sent a representative recently to address a rally, Mr. Xavier Chungu, and declared that he is now supporting Brian Mutubile. The crowd is rising. Look at the rallies in Luapula province. Look at the rallies in the southern province. Look at the recent rally in Kafue by the opposition. Compare the same rallies with the rallies that, of course, the ruling party has been, of course, conducting. Recently, there was another rally at Chilanga. You can see that the temperatures are rising. The question is, will President Hakainde Hichilema be able to hold on to power? Will he be able to contain this pressure? The PEP President Chandaka Totope, and his running mate, Mr. Sean Tembo, also have rallied behind Brian Mutubile and his running mate, Makebi Zulu. Each day, the opposition is consolidating the ground. And this is the situation. On the other hand, the campaign propositions for President Hakainde Hichilema are that they have managed to provide feeding schemes at schools, free education, and they are also pushing forward the proposition that they managed to restructure the debt question for Zambia. They are even saying they've got reserves elsewhere. And the people of Zambia are saying reserves elsewhere cannot bring unga, that is minimum, on the table. Reserves elsewhere cannot save the day, because the people of Zambia are saying we have been actually out of power. They are even claiming that the parastatal ZESCO handling the question of power in the country, They mistakenly at one point sent a transaction to China of certain millions of dollars, probably around 85 million. And the people are saying, how can that be? So, temperatures are rising, toxicity is rising. The opposition is claiming that the operational space is actually being limited or shrinking by each day. They are also not happy with Bill 7, which was passed during the very term by President Hakainde Hichilema. The question is, if we look ahead, are we going to see a smooth transitional process, either of retaining of power, of assumption of opposition into office in Zambia, should anything happen? What are the mechanisms in place to make sure that we are not going to see what we saw in Mozambique recently? What are we going to do to make sure that we are not going to see what we witnessed in Tanzania? Probably, are we going to see a better electoral environment with less casualties? But chances are low, because as we speak right now, one of the independent MPs, a candidate who is campaigning, his driver was killed in cold blood. We have got reports of violence in Kabwe. Reports of violence all over. Like I've said, one of the candidates is now campaigning from behind bars. This is the former chief intelligence boss, Mr. Xavier Chungu. What can we do different? Interestingly, the opposition in Zambia, they've gone as far as observing in Dubai the printing of the ballots. Can this be a safe measure to make sure that it guarantees people to accept the results come August 13? We are yet to see the outcomes, but I think institutions like SADC must not wait to give reports after casualties on top of dead bodies. This is the time to intervene and guide. This is the time for diplomacy to also intervene. This is the time to make sure that all these mechanisms must now guide. Churches, Christian churches have already reported concerns around violence in Zambia. Lusaka has a lot to demonstrate. Why am I saying so? Because we have a history that President Hakainde Hichilema stayed quite a longer time in the opposition, and he has promised democracy. And is this democracy that is being witnessed today? What does he owe to the region of Southern Africa? What does he owe to the people of Zambia? As a model, only time is going to tell. But my lobby is for all the institutions, Transparency International, the EU, SADC, internal institutions in Zambia, to make sure that we begin to act in prevention than to wait for certain things to escalate to an extent that we only become relevant on counting dead bodies. Probably Africa has to learn. Probably Southern Africa has to learn. Let's interrogate what Zimbabweans have done recently. CAB 3. Now CAA 3. A transitional process of making sure that we prolong the period, electoral cycles, and allow communities to heal. Allow development to take precedence. The people of Zambia are once again trapped in electoral violence before they even attain what they thought they were going to attain with the change of government. Is changing government a solution? These are issues that we must interrogate. As the people of Africa, do we need to change something? If so, what can we collectively change as the people of Africa? Thank you.